Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. Before we get started on today's video, I just want to thank you all for subscribing. I am now over 4,000 subscribers. Can't believe it, but I'm very happy about that, and I appreciate all of you. You're awesome. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Today's video is about, well, you can see it in front of you. We've got a couple of graphic equalizers to look at today. The bottom one is a Technics SH-8055. That's not the subject of today's video. We're going to hold off on that till the end of the video. We're just going to check out the bottom one and see what works and what doesn't work, because I don't know what doesn't work and works. But for this video, we're just going to focus on the SH-E7 up top here. Basically, what we have here is the way we did room correction back in the day before we had things like DSP and Odyssey and Dirac or whatever. Now, why do I have these? Well, it's because I've got all these old amplifiers that I've been bringing in over from Japan. Basically, what I want to do is I want to take the Kenwood / Trio KA9300 real soon and throw that on the DCM speakers in the bedroom to replace the Yamaha surround receiver I've been using in there. I love the Yamaha, it's working well, but I think I would rather have the Yamaha in my office now and basically running that system in there and having a vintage or a proper vintage silver audio system over in the bedroom. And that's kind of why I chose the SH-8055 down here, is because look at it. It's got a blue VFD display. You can't get better than this for cosmetics. It's awesome. Think how good this is going to look next to my Pioneer CTF-900. It's going to look like it just belongs there. I love it. Anyway, both of these units are Technics 12-band units. 12 bands is a little more than the usual one-octave equalizer you find every now and then. Like, I've got another one-octave equalizer in storage that hasn't been used in ages. That one's only got 10 bands, as is usual for a one-octave unit. Third octave units have 31 to 33 bands. Obviously, that's not what I've got here. There's also in-between equalizers, like there's half octave, but obviously this isn't one of them either, because half octaves would be 15 bands. Anyhow, what I really like about these Technics equalizers, both of them actually, because they're both 12-band, is that on the low end here, it's not a true full octave equalizer. There's in-between frequencies here. Like a traditional one-octave equalizer would go from 30 hertz to 60, and then 120, and then 240, and then so on. This one starts at 25, 40, 63, 100, 160, and then 250. I love that I've got all these extra bands down here in the low end, because that's kind of helpful when you're trying to EQ a room in the days before Odyssey and Dirac were a thing. Anyhow, let me just get the silver guy off the table for now, and then we'll concentrate on the E7 here. How about that? Now, before we actually properly get into this and find out what's wrong with it, you might be wondering how much it cost me. Well, this one was 65 bucks. Very cheap. That's why I couldn't resist it and why I had it shipped with the big silver one. Otherwise, it would be kind of nice if I had two of the big silver ones, but I don't. Anyhow, the big silver one was 150 bucks. I think it was 175 before the discounts were applied, but this one was so cheap I just had to have it, and as you're about to see, it's got an issue, which I'm hoping to deal with today. I needed something real quick and easy to do today, because I have been sick literally all week, and I have lost a lot of time. The 680ZX was supposed to have its transport up and running by now. It hasn't even come close to that. I spent all day trying to clean the switches in that thing. It literally took all day because there was rust inside of them. And point of fact, that rust is the reason why I now have an ultrasonic cleaner incoming. Should be here within a couple of days. So, what is the deal with this equalizer? Well, Unfortunately, it's a little bit less fully featured than the other one, than the big silver one. The big silver one has separate independent adjustments for each channel. This one does both channels simultaneously, so it's a little bit less flexible than that. Plus, the silver one has a pink noise generator built into it, along with microphone connections. That is very important when it comes to equalizing a room. And I'm very glad the silver one has that, but unfortunately, the microphone didn't come with that, so I will have to figure out how to use that in the bedroom so I can equalize things in there. I can do it by ear, but I would rather use the instrumentation if I can. Anyway, I will show you what's wrong with this right now. That is what's wrong with it. We've got 2 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, 8 kilohertz, and 16 kilohertz maxed out. Nothing going on anywhere else. And I don't even know if this equalizes. I kind of like the memory functions that this one has. Some of these button switches are a little ungood, but it's working well enough. Maybe it's not working well enough. That one needs to be replaced. I wonder what that EQ Plus thing is. It's weird. Anywho, check some of these buttons here. I've got audio connected. We'll see if these actually do anything to the sound in a minute or 5. Yeah, I think I'd like to replace all these button switches. That's the problem ordering stuff from Japan, is these switches get so dirty and corroded. And these types of button switches, I just usually like to just go ahead and replace rather than try to clean them, because you can imagine how much time that would take in something like this, where there's countless button switches. Like there's, let's see, 24 up over here, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 3, 4, 35 button switches this has to go through. We will find out real quick whether or not this is in the audio. And I hear nothing, so it's not in the audio. A little bit of a hum when I crank it, so there might be an issue with bad solder joints, which is exactly what I was kind of thinking this issue could be. And I love the guy that sold this to me in Japan. He contacted me through from Japan and asked me if I still wanted it because of this issue. But in point of fact, that issue is why I bought it. So I just told him, go ahead, send it. I have both channels. Okay, I think I've found out everything I need to know about this. It doesn't sound particularly good, but there could be a lot of reasons for that. This is from the era where you gotta start suspecting the... Well, maybe not. Maybe it's got bad capacitors, I don't know. Either way, there's basically no chance that this issue is going to be capacitor related. At least I don't think so. I think that's going to be bad ground or solder joints. So let's get the cover off this and just take a look. All right, 5 screws later, off comes the cover. This is a nice little package here, this little guy. Anyhow, just taking a little look, and I see something already. Look at that. We've got a ground for the board right to the chassis. If that's loose, that could explain everything. So let's see if we can Well, it wasn't loose. It wasn't real loose, I should say, but see if that fixed it. No, that did not fix it. So we've got to get further into this if we can. I'm just looking for possible issues. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I expected a lot of Panasonic capacitors in here, but I'm not really seeing too many. A lot of Rubicons, especially on the power supply here. Can maybe check a few of those and see if they're any good. I better unplug this before I go any further. Yeah, it looks like a nice little simple design here. I'm not exactly sure how to get it apart, but kind of have to in order to fix anything. Gold cap, 2.3 volts, 3.3 farad. Okay, those are super capacitors. That's what those are. They're for retaining the memory on this thing. Man, 3.3 farads for each one? Good grief, that's a lot of capacitors. A lot of storage capacity, I mean. Okay, let's get into this thing, or try to. I'm not too concerned about it if this thing self-destructs because they are all over the Japanese auction listings. And quite frankly, I'd love an excuse to buy another one of those big silver ones. It's not making things easy for me already. I should probably disconnect some connectors. These are the push down and pull the wires out type that Technics loves to use. I'm not concerned about mixing them up because they're all different conductor counts, I think. Oh no, these two are the same, but they only reach where they're supposed to go, so I'm not too worried about that. And really what I would like to do is to start into the big trio amplifier soon, because I really want to hear that thing. I cleaned it up a few weeks ago. It looks amazing. I want it to work now. Just releasing the two catches. It is loose. Okay. Try to do this as gently as possible. I don't know if it is possible, but okay, we'll just do like this. Just having a look underneath real quick just to see what I have to do to get the front panel off of this thing. Oh, I see. I think I see anyway. I'm going to set this back down. We've got catches under here. See if I can show them to you at all. Probably not very easily. There we go. That's the way that comes apart. So now I can go ahead and take this and replace all these button switches. Looks like we've got the 4-pin type down here. Alright, so all the button switches have now been changed, and the way you can tell is that they're now my favorite color. You can order these in different colors as you prefer on AliExpress, but you do have to make sure you get the correct button switch for your application. They're available as 2 pins or 4 pins, and obviously I've got the 4-pin here. Technics use these switches a lot, and I've been finding them all over the JVC stuff I've been working on as well, so this is probably the most common type. So I'll just measure this one real quick here. The plunger height on this one is 5 millimeters, and switch body is 6.1 by 6.1. So that's basically what you're looking for with this. They're not very expensive at AliExpress. AliExpress is really great for stuff like this, and I used a couple of bags full of these switches on this particular application, so good thing I had a lot of them. Anyhow, I'm ready to put this back into the front panel now, these boards, and we can continue on from there. Didn't find any really bad solder joints, but I just reflowed everything anyway on all of these wires, so we'll have to see if we find anything to be aware of on the main board yet, but we can do that in a second here. Let me get this back together. Okay, main board time. Am I going to find the problem with this, or am I going to have to break out the microscope camera and or try to find a service manual? I don't know. Let's find out here if we can. I should be setting this down on something to protect the VFD, because I don't want that damaged at all. Give me a second here. Okay, I got a soft cloth, and I will try to gently put this down, and we'll look for bad solder joints first, I think. If I don't find those bad solder joints, well, maybe it is a capacitor. I don't know. If it is, I doubt it's an electrolytic. So, oh, this is going to be tough. Maybe I should just go ahead and break out that microscope camera. Ooh, I see a problem. I sees a problem. I wasn't going to bother with these supercapacitors, but one of them is leaking. That one right there, C30. So I'm going to have to get that out of there. Could that cause the issues with the display? I don't know. I tend to think not, but stranger things have happened, I guess. Okay, let's grab it. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe it hasn't been leaking that much yet. We can see if there's still a charge in that little guy. 0.775, it should have more than that. For a, what is it, 3.3 farad cap? Should be higher than that. Let's check the other one here, just while it's in circuit. I have a feeling both of these need replacement. 0.735, yeah, I don't know if I want to be keeping these capacitors in here. So I think this device is going to lose its memory, and I'll have to remember to buy new capacitors from DigiKey for this at some point. Alright, so I've been going through this thing. I haven't really been finding too much in the way of bad solder joints. There is a capacitor here that's a little questionable. It looks like the solder has been contaminated with electrolyte, so I'm going to replace that one. But I have found a thing that you should see. This has been repaired before. Alright, you see this right here? That is not factory, that is a repair somebody did. And it kind of makes me wonder about the health of some of these traces around here, because it looks like there might be some corrosion there. So I'm going to have to break out the multimeter and check some of these traces and see if they're okay. I don't know if that's causing the problem, but it very well could be. Alright, so I have removed the corroded jumper wire that was originally over here, and I have replaced it with a new one of my own, a full jumper wire that completely bypasses that whole section. And I've checked all the other traces. They appear to be good. So I think what I'll do now is I'll just apply some conformal coating to protect this area from any further damage. And should also mention that there were some bad solder joints on the VFD itself, particularly over here around the filament pins. These two over here were okay, but over on this end they were cracked. So hopefully that fixes it. I don't know if it will. At this point, I'm inclined to just replace that one capacitor and just drop this thing back together and see if the problem is resolved. But we'll see. Let me get my conformal coating out and I'll fix this and replace that capacitor and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've got this back together for testing. At least I hope I've got it back together well enough. We'll have to see if this thing even works without the supercapacitors in it, but I just wanted to show you. You can see the board is actually discolored around where the capacitor leads go. That it does indicate that those capacitors have been leaking, so they do need to be changed. I'll have to look on AliExpress to see if I can find those, because I don't want to do a DigiKey order just now. I decided to go ahead and break out the magnifier anyway, and just check over some of the soldering joints. I did reflow quite a few of them. This regulator right here in particular needed reflowing, that one down there. And I just touched up maybe a dozen in various places. And anyway, I hope they're all good now. So let's find out if we fix the problem, shall we? And make sure that the back cover isn't in a place where I'm shorting out my line voltage here. Plug in, turn on. I see smoke. What fried? Oh, great. This is not going to be fixed today, I don't think. Give me a second here. I'm going to try to find this issue. Okay, I have found the problem. The problem is R44. This has smoked itself. Measure's completely open. I'll show you where it is. It's right here. Goes between D11 over here and this capacitor here. And on reviewing my footage, it seems like the smoke happened before I even turned on the power. Before I even turned on the power button up front. So I don't think this is anything I did. So what I'm suspecting now is maybe this capacitor's gone shorted. So I'm going to pull that and check it. Well, folks, it looks like we are not going to be able to fix this unit today. I have looked all over and I cannot find any fusible resistors in this value to replace this one with. This is a fusible resistor. I think it's 120 ohms. Anyhow, I checked all four of those capacitors. They were all good. Regardless, I have now changed them anyway because why not? I found one more bad solder joint in this area. It was that one right there. And I'm noticing that all this stuff goes back to J1, which is the connection back to the power switch. So, yes. Fun stuff. Anyway, I'm going to put this thing back together, and like I promised, we're going to check out the silver one real quick. All right, it's time to check out the blue one and see how it is. I hope it's a lot better than the E7 was, because I don't know, something about the E7 makes me real nervous. You see, I traced that fuse back to find out what it does, and it turns out it's directly in the line to the filament voltage on the VFD. So because I couldn't find any obvious problems to cause that resistor going open like that, my main worry right now is that the VFD on that thing has gone to VFD heaven. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to order the fusible resistors for now. I'm going to ignore the supercaps for now, and we'll see if we can get it up and running, and after that maybe I can order the supercapacitors. Because I don't want to put any more money into that until I know exactly what the problem is and why it's doing that. I tested the diode that's in series to that as well. It tested good, so the fusible resistor did its job and saved that, but I just don't know if the VFD is any good in that thing anymore. Remember, it already had VFD problems, and it already had repairs to the VFD circuit, so I don't know exactly what's going on with it. Anyway, that was the cheap one, so I'm not too put out about that at all. Anyhow, it is time to see what this thing can do, and I think we're going to do this through the home theater this time. I'm just firing it up on my phone right now. I've got the app loading as we speak. Power on. You can see it right there. I will go to the correct source for this. And I will leave that app open just so I can get to the volume if I need it. And I'm going to start playback on the mini disc deck right now. And that could have been the problem with the E7 not sounding as great as I wanted it to be. It could be that the mini disc player is overdriving the input of that thing. Which, by the way, that equalizer still works. It just doesn't have a display right now. And we will give this thing some power. It's already giving me audio somehow. There must be a pass-through of some sort. Okay, we've got EQ lights. Why do we have no analyzer? Oh, there we go. This one works, at least that I can tell. Pink noise generator works. I love this thing already. Okay, these all need help. These all seem to be working. Yeah, everything is working except it needs a general service, it looks like. I'm going to crank it a bit now. Oh, I see what that does. It adjusts the level of the spectrum analyzer. I like this. All right, I'm calling it now. I want another one of these. Who cares about the E7? The E7's kind of a toy compared to this thing. I'm loving this thing. Okay, this isn't quite as flat as I would expect it to be, but don't have a microphone connected either, so I don't know exactly how to use this. I'm going to another track. Yeah, this one seems to be doing okay. We've got no issues with the VFD in this one. It is a little bit dim in places, but not to the point I really care. It's not the same color blue either as the Pioneer tape decks, but it's close enough, I think. Anyhow, I'm going to shut off the home theater now, and we are going to get inside this to see what it's like on the inside. All right, nothing like having to shoot a segment all over again because Windows decided to freeze up while you were trying to transfer video files over. But whatever. I guess we'll do it again. And I'll just pretend like I haven't been inside this thing before. Kind of. Well, I'll show you what we got here. Basically, we've got a forest of blue Panasonic capacitors, and they have been leaking. Big time. You can see right there next to that one regulator, right yonder, that has been puking its guts out for a long time. So there's going to be more like that, and I'm going to have to do a full recap on this little device in order to fix it all up. And naturally, of course, I have to get inside every single one of these sliders to clean them, and that is not going to be fun or particularly quick. So I'm going to have to come at this with a plan, I think, and this is going to be a major project. Every single one of these switches needs to be cleaned. Maybe I do that with the new ultrasonic cleaner, maybe I don't. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing with that yet. I think it'll probably work, but this is going to be a lot of work to finish this particular project up. It is nicer to work on than the E7, I think. Or easier to work on anyway. I'm not exactly sure. We've got like 2 capacitors on this board here to worry about, and I think that's it. Whatever's hiding under there is hiding under there. Actually, there's not much hiding under there. I see one capacitor way back there. That might be fun to get at, but yeah, the challenge with this one is going to be getting all those capacitors done without screwing up this VFD, because if I screw up this VFD, I will never forgive myself. So yes, that is the SH-8055. I really like this thing. I'm going to start looking for another one, I think. Maybe another 2, I'm not sure. If I can find another cheap E7 to use for parts, maybe, maybe not. I'm not really that concerned about that particular unit. There's also a number of Kenwood EQs with spectrum analyzers I would love to take a look at, like the GE-1100. I was really wanting one of those, but I couldn't find one for buying one, so maybe I'll try and find that one as an alternative to the E7. Either way, as you saw in the video, I found that the resistor that failed in the E7 was actually a flame-proof and not a fusible resistor. I'm not exactly sure if I want to trust my Chinese parts for that, so I'm thinking maybe I get one from DigiKey, or maybe 10 or 20 or something like that from DigiKey, and then I'll try to bring the display back online at that point. I think I might make one attempt and that's it, but I'm not sure. I still have no idea why the resistor smoked like that. Either there's a short internal to the VFD or something else is going on, because I found no issues on the board whatsoever. But it also could be the stuff around the power switch as well. I have to check the power switch. There's a capacitor on that board I should check as well. And that's pretty much all there is to it. We'll get back into the E7 when I feel like getting back to it. You'll probably see this one on the channel first. Anyhow, that's going to be it for today, guys. See you next time. Take care.